Hi, everybody. This is Darlene Hodges, and this is the summary of my final professional development project, Maximizing Outcomes for Students Who Are Economically Disadvantaged. So, my purpose in education is really a matter of systemic equity and justice. In my role as Wayne County Public Schools Integrated Academic and Behavior Systems Coordinator, I'm tasked with building the capacity of leadership teams to lead systemic change that result in not only academic but behavioral and social emotional achievement for all students. The professional development topic that I've chosen would be particularly helpful for today's teachers because nearly half of students that are living in this state are economically disadvantaged. Also, in the aggregate, more educators experience less success with students that are least like them. So, to put that statement into a little more explicit context, we must first ask ourselves who are most educators in the K 12 system. And if we look at the demographics, it's really middle class white females. So, what the research tells us is that for each of these characteristics, students who are the opposite, i.e., impoverished non white males, are less likely to experience success in academic settings. And then what we also see is that the negative effects multiplies for students who have multiple contrasting characteristics. So, in the article associated with the graphic that you see here, there was a statement that really resonated with me, and it said that A is still for affluent. The graphic really speaks for itself, but in the research, it talks about the achievement opportunity gaps for students who live in poverty existing really in two basic pots, one at home and one at school. And the number one contributing factor for school is a lack of rigor, which is highly correlated with pitying students in poverty and beliefs about what students can and cannot achieve. So those things are totally within the grasp and of in the sphere of ability to change for school personnel. This proposed professional development offers numerous strategies to engage adults in learning and to increase their efficacy towards improving their own practice and maximizing equitable outcomes for students. The book I selected as the primary resource for my professional development is Teaching with Poverty in Mind: What Being Poor Does to Kids' Brains and What Schools Can Do About It by Eric Jensen. It is a candid look at poverty's physical, mental, and social effect on not only students but their families and communities across the country. He really talks about the havoc that poverty wreaks on emotional and social well being, stress, cognition, physical health, and even safety. But then he goes on to discuss that these effects do not have to be permanent and provides guidance on what schools can do about it. This book is, to me, it was really an all call to educators to put up or shut up. He talks about controlling the things that we can control, and that the only way for schools to impact what happens outside of school is to take responsibility for what happens inside of school and take action filtered through a lens of empathy, sound instruction, and accountability instead of sympathy. So this plan for professional development really happens in two parts. First, there is the district implementation part, and then the support to schools and the school implementation. So this is really going to depend on strong district school partnerships, and they'll be vital for the successful implementation of the professional development. So in the plan, it starts over the summer with the district's integrated academic and behavior systems coordinator, which is me, selecting schools with evidence of readiness. And we'll develop a rubric in coordination with the other people on the MTSS implementation team that will assess readiness. And at a minimum, the criteria will include that the principal has a desire to use systemic practices to decrease academic disparities for economically disadvantaged students. So we know that typically when we have high volumes of low SES students, these are hard to staff schools, and so we will consider also the implementation of academic core, which means how are they doing with sound academic curriculum, instruction, environment, and assessment. And if that is an issue, then there will be additional partnership with our curriculum specialists to help those to still be able to offer this to the staff that has the zeal but not the skill to implement strong academics. There also will be a partnership with the behavior coordinator who will actually help to lead and model the book studies and the coaching. And the coaching is a key component in moving from just acquiring knowledge to applying skill. So throughout the summer, the district team or selected members will work with school leadership teams, SIT teams, or school improvement teams to build their capacity for implementation. Each participating school will commit to and actively engage in, and this includes the principal, the following things. So throughout the year, the principal and school leadership team will work to shift the school's culture in two pivotal areas: beliefs and responses. Beliefs and responses. So, with guidance from my team and the district level support, we'll help them to disaggregate and really understand their MTSS beliefs data and what staff believe about students, parents, and learning, as well as their responsibilities, what they believe about their responsibilities as educators. So through whole staff, small group, and individual conversations and support, staff will begin to understand how their own experiences really do impact the way they teach, what they expect, and how they interact with their students. And an initial whole staff professional development on understanding poverty and the brain will take place during the in-service days at the beginning of the school year. And then each consecutive month for the next 4 months, so that would be September through December, discussions will take place in grade level PLCs with the respective SIT team member that were trained in the PLCs. Electives will discuss this during their PLCs, and any classified staff who's not assigned to a classroom will also be assigned to a PLC. There will be a coaching schedule that provides all the multi-step coaching for modeling, discussion, co-planning, observation, all those pieces. And they'll develop that schedule during the summer, and then it will be implemented during the school year. Each month, they will take a different chapter, and so all discussions, coaching, all those things will be based on the chapter content. In addition, it will be necessary for them to start to learn to embed the strategies from the book into their academic content. And it will be monitored through lesson planning and observation. Then finally, recommendations from teachers for whole school non-negotiables. What are we going to start doing here as a part of the way that we do school? They will be provided to the SIT team, as well as goals for proof of improvement. So not just that we have done these things, but now how are our students doing? And at a minimum, what we want to see is one academic, one behavior, and one attendance goal. And so that is my professional development plan. Thank you.